something a little different here. Kind of like a dragon robot mech made with a lot of ball joint pieces and nice smooth slopes and horns and different pieces that I have a million of from Pick a Brick Wall. Normally I don't like to use a ton of the same piece in a model, but for some it just really works. So for this I kind of have the alternating black and red teeth horn pieces throughout. Mostly the small ones. There's a few larger ones on the head. And then I also use these black flags as kind of like a, spike kind of thing on a dinosaur tail. Really like how poseable this is. I mean, it's a bit skeletal, so I like the appearance of that too. But that also makes it kind of on the weaker side, like if you were to pick it up and throw it around. And also the weight can kind of be an issue, but if you pose it, it will hold a bunch of different positions pretty well. The legs just have a knee joint and a little bit of an ankle movement there. But that gives you a lot of flexibility. The middle part actually has like a vehicle in there if you detach both the front and back legs, and this is like a little flying vehicle that kind of adds some greebling to the belly, because otherwise it looks pretty thin. This back, well, I'll just go ahead and detach it if I can without messing up too much. I try to make it so that you can handle it reasonably well, at least if you know where to grab it without everything falling apart. I mean, you don't want it to be so fragile that it's not really usable. But this is kind of like its own mech by itself. Looks more like a walker if you just detach both pieces there. See, and there goes a tooth. They would hold on a little better if I use the 1x1 stud with a hole in it, but I don't have a lot of those, so I don't like to use them up. Here's the middle segment. Just kind of a little vehicle. Originally I didn't have a guy sitting in there. I was going to just put like some greebling to suggest a motor or something, but I thought that looked okay. Doesn't have a lot of clearance, but plenty to move. And then detach the front here. You get another walker. And then I'll just kind of show all the pieces crammed together to make this head and give it some detail. Was able to use up one of these hearts. I got a bunch of them, but I've been trying to figure out ways to use them in a ship or something like that. These little gun pieces, I used a ton of them in this model too, and those are another ones I got off the Pick a Brick Wall. Got a lot of these rounded corners and things like that recently, so those just are helpful to kind of suggest a more like rounded, streamlined shape. Mouth opens and closes pretty well. That's pretty solid. these little smooth rounded pieces look great on just about anything. I only have them in quantity in red and gray. More detail on the tail. I think what I was going for here was kind of like you can fold the tail up around the guy, and then it kind of becomes a more like beefier seat. And then this can kind of close up around them. But then it doesn't really lend itself to creating like a full canopy. It's all out of focus. And I got a bunch of these yellow or trans yellow minifigure heads too. So I've been using them liberally. I like how the feet came out. Nothing wrong with a simple design if it comes out looking smooth. There's another gun and some of the I don't know what that piece is called, where it's just rounded on one side, but I have a lot of those in black and white now. And it's very poseable, like you can kind of get it into some action poses if you take your time and balance the weight right. And that's about it for that.